Hey guys, it's Megan. Welcome back to another video. We're in my house again today because we are doing another book haul, and these are all books that I didn't get for Christmas, but books I've just either purchased or received as gifts that were not Christmas related. So it's been a lot, and I haven't done a book haul in a while, so there's quite a few to go through. We're not going to talk about the plot summaries of all of them. I just kind of want to show you what they are, what my plans are for reading them, and yeah, who day, right? Because I've learned that now, because today is also the Super Bowl, and my husband and his family are longtime Bengals fans, and now I've been converted to be one too. And it's also my baby's first birthday party, which we're combining with the Super Bowl party, so that's also exciting. All my in-laws are here. They're setting up for the party right now, so let's get to this book haul so that I can go eat cake and watch my baby eat cake for the first time. So these are in no particular order. I'm just grabbing them from a giant stack. First, I have Up on a Burning Throne by Ashok K. Banker, the first book in this Burnt Empire saga, which I'm pretty sure the second book is out now too. I did not know it was this big. I see this all the time on BookTube, and it's really pretty. And I know it's like an Indian-inspired fantasy story, but I had no idea that it was this massive, so I'm kind of scared. But I got this for like, I want to say it was $10 or less. I think it was like $8 or something at a half price books. Might have been $10. So it's used, but it doesn't even look used. It's very, very pretty. I know nothing about it except that it's an Indian-inspired fantasy with demigods and gods and strange powers, seers, and just plain humans all struggling for power and to make sense of their lives and fate in a world where one is never sure anything is either certain or what it appears to be. So I'll definitely try reading this. Don't have any idea when, may not even be this year. Super random purchase. I bought a book about Myst, the video game, because my husband and I played Myst recently, the like remastered version, and it was so much fun. It's like a giant escape room. So if you like escape rooms, you would really like Myst. Very much like puzzles and logic. And in it, Atris is like the dad of the two main characters, and he, I guess, has been to all these different worlds and things, and so this is like his story. I guess it's like his diary. It's called the Book of Atris. I think it's basically like a prequel to Myst is what I gather. So if you read this, you can kind of see where Myst takes off from. This was written in 1995, I guess when after the video game first came out and became popular. But anyway, we want to play all the sequels to Myst. I played the first 3 back when I was young, and I don't really remember much about them. But I definitely never read the book, and I found this used as well, even though it's really nice and really new. It was like a few bucks. And I'm definitely going to read it. Don't know when. Probably whenever we start playing the second Myst game, which was called Riven. And when I get interested in that again, I'll try this. So I'd recently bought the Sinlin Ascends book, the first book in the Books of Babel series by Josiah Bancroft. And now I bought the second one, which is Arm of the Sphinx. So I bought this after I was only like maybe 100 pages into the first book because I thought I was loving it. But it turns out it's not like my favorite thing ever. It's not bad. But this book, I'm gonna try the sequel, but it's not one I'm like anxious to get to because I only gave the other one 3.5 stars. So I'm definitely curious to see where it goes. But if I don't give this one at least 4 stars, I think I won't continue the series. I hear the third one's really good, but then I hear the new 4th one that just came out that finished the series is disappointing. So, you know, I mean, I'll try the second one and see where we're at. Another first large fantasy series I bought, very large book, is The Rune of Kings by Jen Lyons, only because J.D. Ray from J.D. Ray Reads talks about this book all the time, and I feel like I usually like some similar books to her. It's like one of her favorite series ever now though. It's long, it's got footnotes and like a narrator telling a story with another character who is like telling the same character's story, plus another guy who's writing down their story, making footnotes. So, I mean, I hear it's like, I mean, basically it's kind of a complex way of telling it. And it switches back and forth between two people's points of view but they're telling like the same story. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I know the coolest part to me is that it says, maybe he isn't the hero after all, for Kieran is not destined to save the Empire, he's destined to destroy it. That's definitely a very different take, I feel like, on like destiny calling you. Your destiny's calling you to destroy the Empire instead of save it. So I got 68 pages in, it looks like, but I'm definitely gonna start over because I don't remember anything. And yeah, what if you weren't the hero is the tagline. It's a whole series as well, so I will definitely give it a try soon. A book that I'm planning on reading momentarily, like maybe 2 books from now after I finish a couple things, is Redemptor by Jordan Afoyko. I've talked about this series a lot, but this is the sequel to Raybearer. It's just a duology, so I'll read this and I'll be finished. I loved the first one. It's the best young adult fantasy I've ever read. It is super in-depth, highly detailed world. Like, the world building is exceptional. The plot was really fast-paced and fascinating. I loved it. Like I said, the characters were the things I didn't care as much about, but it was still super, super good. And the plot of this one, like she's going to be going to the underworld apparently, and like she has to survive, and she's got to make peace with like all the other empires kind of, or like get them to sort of, I don't know, she's got to connect with them and like anoint a council or whatever. She's going to be an empress. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff going on. So I'm super excited, and I'm going to read this very soon. Another book that I bought and already DNF'd, just want to mention it though, is Empire of the Vampire by J. Kristoff. It's huge. If I go back and read it, I've said this before, I might go back and read it as a joke and read it to be funny, because it was so over the top, like trying to be goth, and it's like you walked into Hot Topic, and it's ridiculous, and the way it's written was ridiculous, the names were ridiculous, the terms, I don't even know. It was just so ridiculous, and people always are like, oh, what do you mean? Let me just read you this, and you tell me that this isn't ridiculous. At the very beginning, if you want to know the tone of this book, it's just a little blurb from supposedly this vow that the main characters have to take. It says, "And in sight of God and his 7 martyrs, I do here vow, let the dark know my name and despair. So long as it burns, I am the flame. So long as it bleeds, I am the blade. So long as it sins, I am the saint, and I am silver." If that is cool to you, then you would like this book. If that is cheesy and ridiculous to you, I don't think you'll like this book. So that is that book in a nutshell. I will read it again just to be funny and maybe vlog it. Okay, I'm also on a Robin Hobb journey this year. I'm going to read Assassin's Apprentice, but in case I don't like that series, I'm also going to start the Live Ship Trader series at some point, hopefully this year. So I bought The Ship of Magic, which is the first one. This is a really large book. It's like over 600 pages. It doesn't look that big, but the font is like, there's a lot of words per page, I feel like. I just know that this one involves dragons, and like after so many generations of people die on a ship, then it becomes like sentient or something. I don't know. That's all I know. But I know it's kind of set in the same world as the Farseer trilogy, with Assassin's Apprentice and all that, but I don't think you have to have read them. I think it helps, but I know it's totally different characters, so I might try this one if the other one's not for me. So I've also bought a sequel to a book I've not read yet, because this was really cheap. I found it used and it looks brand new, but it was like $5, and it's Before They Are Hanged by Joe Abercrombie. It's the sequel to The Blade itself. It's the second in a trilogy. It's the First Law trilogy that everyone talks about, and so I'm gonna have to read it because it's like Game of Thrones with some humor. It's super dark. Everyone says it has no plot and it's all about the characters, but I liked the plot so far of what I read of the first one. I'd read like 100 pages and then I stopped. So I am gonna reread the first one. It's not a huge priority right now, but at least I already own the second one for when the time comes. So my sister-in-law gave me a book called The Collector by John Fowles, however you say it, a superb novel. Evil has seldom been so sinister. It's not super long. Apparently it's one of the it's the first modern psychological thriller. And I'd never heard of it before. So, I mean, I've never even heard of this author. Apparently he wrote quite a few famous things. The French Lieutenant's Woman, The Collector, Daniel Martin, The Magus. This is a tale of obsessive love, the story of a lonely clerk who collects butterflies, and the beautiful young art student who is his ultimate quarry, remains unparalleled in its power to startle and mesmerize. Okay. I mean, haunting and memorable. So, I mean, it's the first psychological thriller, so maybe I'll save this for Halloween time and check it out. I'm sensing a trend here. I'm seeing that I'm buying a lot of first books in a series. So I also bought the first book in this series, which is The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. Oh, and look, I got a free bookmark, The Inner Geek. I don't remember the name of this series though, but I read another book by Samantha Shannon. I read, what's it called? The big one, the orange one, Priory of the Orange Tree. There we go. And I liked it. I gave it 4 stars. It was really good, and I liked the writing. So this is a whole series though, so I think that'll be even better. Oh, there's not that many words per page, so that's good. The spacing's really large between the lines. So I'll give it a try. Looks like I got this for $9 used, and it looks like a pretty decent used copy. So we'll try The Bone Season. And I want to say, is it set in the real world? Oh, it's set in 2059 in the underworld version of Scion, London. So it's like a futuristic version of London. I did not expect that. So created a bold new reality. Okay, so maybe it's a little sci-fi too. I don't know. I'm intrigued, and I don't really want to know any more about it. So most of the rest of these are series I've bought recently. The first is a series I listened to on audiobook already. I've already read these. They're 5 stars. Some of my new favorite all-time books ever, and that is Vicious and Vengeful by V.E. Schwab. I had to own the physical copies because I absolutely loved it. It's just a duology. The first one is relatively small, the second one's definitely bigger. I'm not going to go in depth here, but absolutely amazing if you like reading about basically, they say morally gray characters. They're pretty much straight up villains, about villains helping fight other villains and taking sides and things like that. And it's like sort of like X-Men and the show The Boys, but like really clever and creative, and the storytelling aspect is wonderful. The kind of the way it jumps around in time is really neat. So I highly recommend these to everyone. So I also recently bought a trilogy. I don't know why, because they're not even that great. But they're pretty, so at least there's that. The first one is Wicked Saints by Emily A. Duncan. I got this used. I've told you this story before. I thought it was adult, thought it was romance, like kind of goth. Turns out, yeah, there's some romance in it, but I don't know. The main plot's probably more important than the romance in it. And it's young adult, but it's very bloody, lots of blood. I liked it pretty well. I gave this one like 4 stars just because I enjoyed it. But then I actually straight up bought new on Amazon, the sequel, Ruthless Gods, and I read it, and it's kind of ridiculous. The logic in this book really makes no sense at all. Like, why are they doing anything that they're doing? Makes no sense. So I don't really recommend it, honestly. Like, maybe just stop at the first one. But because I'm committed, I went ahead and bought the third one too. I've not read it yet. Blessed Monsters. I mean, there's a lot about eyes and blood and stuff. So if you have a thing about eyes, you probably wouldn't like this book. Oh, the trilogy, by the way, is called the Something Dark and Holy trilogy. So I'll read this last one because it's not quite as big as the second one, although it's still pretty good size. And we'll just see if it wraps up any better than the second one is. So the last series I bought, and then one other random book. The last series I bought the entire Nevermore series that's out so far by Jessica Townsend. The first one is called Nevermore. The second one is Wondersmith. And then this is the third one, Hollowpox. The first 2 I loaned to my mom because she's reading them. She just finished reading the first one and she said she really, really liked it. And then one of my best friends read it and she really liked it. I think they kind of all gave it like 4 stars. I highly recommend it and I gave it 5 stars. It's the closest thing I've ever read to Harry Potter. Oh, it's like middle grade and whimsical and fun and funny. Oh my gosh, I love everything about it except for maybe the characters, or especially the main characters, the only thing I don't really care about as much, or that I'm not as attached to as much as I was like attached to Harry Potter. But the world that this is in is just absolutely amazing. I like the villain aspect and how I think she's going to have to sort of work a little bit with the villain to fight maybe like a worser evil. So that's going to be exciting and something really unique and different. Each book is so different too. Each book is structured very differently, unlike Harry Potter where, you know, every book's kind of structured the same way. So this one's really different, but this one's probably my favorite. I think they get progressively better. As much as I loved the first one, then I read the second one and I was like, whoa, how is this even better? And then I read the third one and I was like, this is ridiculous. This cannot keep getting better. But I loved this one a lot. And the 4th book comes out in October. It's going to be called Silverborn. So I think it's called The Mystery of Morrigan Crow is the subtitle. So I'm super excited for that. And the last book I have to show off is a book that my parents bought me a while back that I didn't show you guys, is the Unofficial Disney Parks Cookbook. I think I showed you for Christmas, they gave me the drink version of this. That's just Disney drinks. But this one is Disney food. And it's unofficial, but I mean, it's pretty much the actual recipes. It has beautiful pictures as you go. Caramel popcorn from Germany, that caramel kucha restaurant. I mean, anything you could basically ever want in here. The maple popcorn, turkey legs, the gray stuff. I mean, I cannot wait to fix some of these things. I've not tried any yet. Cheeseburger spring rolls, which I've still yet to try at Disney, and I've tried to get like every time I go, and somehow it works out I don't get them. School bread that everybody talks about, which I know is divisive because it has coconut on it. Bacon, macaroni and cheese hot dogs. The corn dog nuggets. Oh, it's arranged by park too. So Disneyland, which I've never been to, and then all the different parks at Magic Kingdom. So if there's one thing you like in particular, you could always see if it's in here. Gaston's giant cinnamon rolls. Oh, it's got really new stuff too from the Star Wars land. It's got blue milk, Outpost popcorn mix, Ronto wrap, peanut butter and jelly milkshake, which I hear is really good from, I think 50s Primetime Cafe. Never had that. I really, really want to. So Mr. Kumal's seasoned fries at Animal Kingdom I hear are really, really good. So a lot of these I've never tried. Oh, pretzels with cream cheese filling. I absolutely love those. They're always hard to find. So yeah, there's definitely a lot, and I'm going to fix stuff. And especially as my baby gets older and we actually go to these parks, I think he will come home and we'll be like, oh, look, remember having Jack Jack's Num Nums or whatever? And then I can fix them for him, and hopefully he'll be super excited because he can have the same foods that he eats at Disney World. Oh, look, Dole Whip. Everybody loves Dole Whip. I loved it. I've only had it once and I thought it was great. So anyway, those are some books that I have got recently. Most of these I did purchase on my own, but notice a lot of them were used, so that was good. And this has been over the course of a long time that I've accumulated these, so hopefully I don't have too much of a book buying problem. But with the books I got for Christmas and then all these books too, I have a lot of books to read and not very much time to read them. So hopefully this summer when I'm out of school, I can make a really big dent in these, especially when the baby's at daycare. Well, he's not gonna be a baby anymore, he's gonna be a toddler. When the toddler's at daycare, I will get to just sit around and read all summer. So that's the plan. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you have read any of these books and if you suggest any of them to me. If you think there's one that I should start with, because honestly, I'm kind of at a loss. After I've got a couple reading plans for the next couple books I'm going to read, and then after that, my TBR is pretty open. So let me know if you think there's any of these that I should prioritize. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye.